Right, good evening, and thanks for clicking on to the Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. It has been a rather mixed bag of weather in recent days, and that mixed bag continues as we move towards the final days of the year and month and head into 2024. What weather could we see as we move into the new year? Well, we will discuss that in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But before we get there, this is the UKV model for snow projections through the next few days, and you can see that as we move into the early portions of tomorrow, that snow depth kind of briefly increases over the Highlands of Scotland, a little touch over southwestern Scotland, maybe even the highest parts of Northern Ireland, Northern England, possibly into Wales as well. As we continue to play through the loop, you can see that we increase the potential for snow mainly over high ground, but we may get a wintry mix even down to low levels. This is all marginal thanks to the contrast between cold, never far away from the north, versus mild, never far away from the south as well, and we continue to see that battleground, so to speak. But generally, the UKV or the Met Office model, not overly enthusiastic with regards to snow, possibly 250 metres or so we would see accumulating snow. As we continue to play through the final hours of 2023 into 2024, you can see that any snowfall expected is over the highest ground of the northern UK. Let's have a look at the GFS model for the UK and Ireland also. So we play through the loop, the same emphasis being on snow over high ground as we move through the course of, certainly help if I get to the right chart, wouldn't it? So as we play through later tonight into tomorrow morning, we do see an increase in snow. The reason why is we've got one area of low pressure exiting into Norway. We've got another area of low pressure, quite a deepening feature. Thankfully, it will peak in intensity before it reaches the UK and Ireland. But nonetheless, we have got a band, a cold front moving through, and it's the cold air that is in place ahead of that frontal system that will set the environment for heavy snowfall, 200, 250 metres or above. So as we move out of December into January, you can see that the overall emphasis being on heavy snowfall. Anything that accumulates is over high ground to the north of the central belt. Now, there is a little flirt of more snow further south, that being really over the southern half of Scotland, far north of England, as we progress towards the end of next week here. Play right the way through to the 10th, 12th, 13th of January. You can see here that the overall theme is nothing overly enthusiastic with regards to snowfall here. We may have a flirt of snow accumulating over South Wales through the Midlands and that general swathe of the UK as we move towards next weekend and even beyond that. Finally, let's look at the ECMWF, and you can see here again the emphasis being on high ground snow. A little bit more enthusiastic parts of Donegal across, Antrim, County Londonderry, and into the northwest of England, northwest Wales. Also, we may see accumulating snow into the day tomorrow. You can see it a little bit more enthusiastic on the ECMWF. It tends to be a little bit more bullish, the ECM versus the GFS, and you can see through the course of tomorrow we have got accumulating snow, but once again the emphasis being on high ground. Then as we move into the new year, we play through the loop, there is another system that moves in off the Atlantic, cold air in place. We may get some of a repeat performance of what we've seen so far. Continue to play through all the way out to the end of week 1 of January. And this is the emphasis that I've got with regards to the January outlook that should hopefully be published this evening, by the way. I think the emphasis will be on the MJO becoming a little bit more active in phase 1. That encourages higher pressure up towards Iceland and Greenland, forces the storm track further south, but it also weakens the storm track also. And we will watch this space to see what happens. I believe anyway that we should see a turn to something colder towards the end of the first week of January. And as we progress towards the middle portion of the month, I do think that there is a colder overall pattern developing here. The Arctic Oscillation, the North Atlantic Oscillation, expected to go into firm negative territory, and that is initiated by that MJO strong phase 1 into phase 2 here. With regards to the stratosphere, there still is a lot of uncertainty with that. There has been a little bit of a backing off in terms of the major southern stratospheric warming. It looks as if some of the members are more honing in on a minor southern stratospheric warming. What influence that may have later down the road remains to be very much seen. So we'll watch this space as we go down the road. But this is the current temperatures as of 6:15 in the evening on Friday. We've got temperatures at or around freezing, either side of freezing, a degree or two. And then as we move further south, we've got milder conditions here, mid-single figures over the north of England into the Midlands. And then as we move towards the Greater London, down to the south coast area, we've got temperatures generally between 7 to the north of London and 10 down around the Brighton area. Now, what is taking place is we've got higher pressure, a slice of higher pressure moving in during the course of this evening. Now, we've got an area of low pressure to the northeast that's drawn in a chilly northerly airflow here, rain showers at low levels, snow showers mid to high ground here. But as that system then moves off to the east, we've got another system moving in from the Atlantic, but we've got a spell of settled conditions. Clear skies, light winds, cold air in place. Temperatures may actually drop close to -10 by the time we reach 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then it goes downhill as the next system moves in off the Atlantic. So let's have a look and see what is expected over the next several days here. So let's look at the overview chart of the GFS model and get back to the here and now. So we've got that area of low pressure at 977 millibars just to the east of Shetland here. That is moving and out of the picture. You can see the chilly air coming in from a northerly direction on the western flank of that centre of low pressure. The isobars spread out. We've got clear skies, light winds for a period of time. And then it's as we move into the through the course of tomorrow, we've got a 962 millibar area of low pressure. Now that doesn't bodily move across the UK and Ireland because we've got higher pressure to the east. So we've got a frontal boundary that is going to move from west to east across Ireland and the UK during the course of tomorrow. Ahead of that system, there is chilly air in place, so we are going to see a spell of not only very heavy rainfall southwest England right up through the spine of Wales into the northwest of England, but it's as we move that system, as it moves into Scotland, we are going to see some very heavy snowfall breaking out over the southern uplands. High parts of the central belt may see a slushy accumulation somewhere around the kind of Shotts area of the M8 corridor. Then as you move into the southern and central highlands, we may see more disruptive snow. So again, like I say, we've got this fight between cold never far away to the north versus milder conditions further south here. So as we play through the GFS map, you can see that that system eventually starts to limp its way across Ireland and Northern Ireland during the course of Sunday here. So this is obviously New Year's Eve. You've got the main band of precipitation that then moving up into the Northern Isles, so Orkney and Shetland. We've got some very strong east to southeasterly winds, very messy conditions, nasty weather, but we've got also clear skies over the heart of mainland Scotland during the course of New Year's Eve. Further south across Ireland, Northern Ireland, England and Wales, we've got a brisk west to southwesterly wind. We are going to see some fairly shower activity rattling through anywhere from the centre of the low further south. We've got somewhat higher pressure within this circulation itself. We've got the main band of heavy precipitation, whether it be rain or snow, up across the Northern Isles. We've got more precipitation moving in from a westerly direction underneath the centre of the low pressure, but it's across the northern half of the UK where you have got that gap in weather. Therefore, we could see a cold start to the new year, particularly across the northern half of the UK where winds are lightest, skies are clearest here. We've always got that breeze and shower activity further south across the central and southern half of the UK and Ireland here. As we continue to play through the loop, you can see another feature moving in off the Atlantic. So we maintain this unsettled theme through the early portions of next week. Like we've seen with Storm Garrett, like we're going to see tomorrow, we're going to see more of low-level rainfall, mid to high ground snowfall, and that looks as if it's going to be the story through the course of next week here. More weather coming in off the Atlantic means that we're just not going to get much of a respite with regards to the overall situation weather-wise here. Let's have a look at the broader picture and see what the GFS is indicating for 850 temperatures here, but this is the all-important, with regards to rain versus snow. So we'll go back to the here now. There's an area of low pressure moving off the playing field of the UK. We've got the next system moving in. We've got the colder in between that, hence why we may see likely a hard frost anywhere from the North Midlands up through the north of England and much of Scotland. With clear skies, light winds, we are going to see temperatures drop well below freezing during the night. Widely -2 to -4, but in sheltered glens, especially if we've got snow on the ground, we could see an approach on -8 to -10 Celsius. Then the next system moves in. We've got a little bit of milder air trying to move in from the south ahead of that next frontal system. That then moves through. We've got borderline chilly air as we move out of the 2023 into 2024. And then as we move through the course of next week, you can see the battle here between bitterly cold air over northwestern Russia through the southern half of Finland, Sweden, Norway. We're flirting with that cold air across the northern half of the UK, but never far away is that milder air. And we've got this real fight, this real battle between the warm and cold continuing. At the very end of the loop, if you notice here, by Tuesday, the 9th of January, so this is still a long way out, by the way, but we've got milder air moving up towards Iceland here. We've got an area of high pressure across the northern UK into southern Scandinavia with very cold air trying to get wrapped underneath that area of high pressure and cycle it towards the southern half of the UK. But this is the GFS operational. We've got so many runs of this model. Each individual run does tend to chop and change, so we cannot really take that particularly seriously. Finally, let's have a look and see what the latest run of the GEFS is indicating here with the longer term. So let's look at ECNWF weeklies and see what they're showing regarding the Europe temperature profile here. So this is the 30-day. 500 millibar or mean sea level pressure anomaly chart here, and that is very interesting. Remember what I've said in recent days. MJO phase 1, that promotes higher pressure up towards Iceland, lower pressure southern UK, southern portions of Europe here, and this is the profile seen by the ECMWF extended. Let's have a look at the temperature profile for the same period over that spell between the 20th of December and 27th of January. We've got a cold north, warm south over Europe, and overall a colder than average UK. So interesting times to come. The January forecast, by the way, I will discuss that in tomorrow's video if I have time. I'm actually driving down to Glasgow and back tomorrow, so I'm going to be on the road for quite a while tomorrow. I'm going to try and get some thoughts with regards to the January outlook and publish that for tomorrow. So stay tuned, hopefully, for that. So, yeah, like I always harp on about, it's interesting times to come. We will look in more detail at the stratosphere also in the coming days ahead as well. So like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you again, hopefully, tomorrow with more. Bye for now.